Hi everyone, my name is Charlie, and this is Charlie. No, it's not. That's Charlie. And today we are going to be taking part in the end of the year book tag. I believe that this tag was created by Ariel Bissett. I saw a few channels do it, and I messaged Charlie, shall we do it? And now we're here. So we'll just get straight into things with me asking you the question: are there any books you've started this year and you need to finish?
I've got What a Mother's Love Don't Teach You by Sharma that I started when I was on my holiday, and as the Skoden Readathon started, I kind of had to put it aside for a bit, so I want to finish that by the end of the year. And then also I've got, I don't know, like I said, Zorrie by Laird. This is really short, and I kind of made a little start on it, and I don't know why I put it down because it's really good. So anyway, and this is sort of this one tells the story of Zorrie, main character Zorrie's life. It's kind of like I think it's like an Anne of Green Gables kind of story, apparently. I don't really know. And then Pages and Co, the Treehouse Library I started.
How many of those books are there now?
This is the fifth one.
I did not know there were 5.
It's really fun, but I think you have to be in the mood for like middle grade. I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like I have to be in the mood for middle grade. And I think when I started it, I was kind of like, I just wasn't in that headspace. So yeah.
I go to middle grade if I've read a particularly dense book and I want something quick and I don't have to think over a lot, or if I'm in a particularly festive mood that we associate with the end of the year and I'm looking for a little bit of magic and adventure with not a lot of peril, then I'll go to middle grade.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, lack of peril is always good for the December reads.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. How about you, Charlie?
So I don't know whether this will show up. There we go. Nope. So I have The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova, which I've been talking about now for about 2 months. And I have 125 pages left. So I'm hoping to actually finish this one today. It's quite dense, but I spoke to Alice of Alice's Giant Bookshelf on Instagram when I shared that I was reading this, and said it's a dense book and it's a long book, but when you get down and actually get a chance to read it, it seems to move rather quickly.
So you're enjoying it then?
Sorry?
You've been enjoying it then?
I've been enjoying it. There are moments where I thought it's a bit bloated, but then at the same time, it's more literary than I anticipated it being. So
is that the one you bought when we were together, or is that
no? That's a different one. That
yeah.
I will not be reading this year, but they are both about Dracula. And then I have Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman, which this Zoom does not like. And this is a book that I read many years ago, started rereading in September for a preparation for a book that I wanted to plan, and was very much enjoying it and want to finish this before the end of the year. I only stopped reading this because of Victober.
What is Neverwhere about? Sorry, just because I haven't read.
Richard Mayhew has moved from Scotland to London to start work. He leads a very mundane life, and he saves the life of this almost mystical girl. And after that, these 2 people turn up wanting to find her for what seem to be very nefarious means. And then when Richard goes to work the next day, he finds that everybody has forgotten who he is.
Oh.
And so he ends up finding this mystical underground world within London.
That sounds good.
It goes from there.
I do love a good Neil Gaiman book. They're always quite fun.
There was a TV series before the book came out that I've never seen, and I'm sure that there is a full cast, either novel or dramatization, on Audible. I know for a couple of years around Christmas they were adapting Neil Gaiman's books for Radio 4, so I don't know whether it's available on there or whether this was. one of those books.
That sounds really good.
And then finally, we have a book that I've never actually mentioned on my channel at all, which is The Elegance of the Hedgehog by Muriel Barbery, and this was translated by Alison Anderson. In 2007, I went through a phase of reading translated French fiction. Was it 2007? This will tell me.
I love that book, Charlie. That's like one of my favourite books.
Yes,
I love that.
It was 2007. And I got this book out of the library and never read it. And I have this sense that it's going to be a favourite of mine. And it was years ago, Lean and Norms mentioned it on her channel about how she'd owned it for years and only just got around to reading it. And in the bath at the start of the year, I started reading this book. And so far, I've read 50 pages here and there. And I very much enjoyed everything that I've read of this book so far, but just have never knuckled down and read it like, I've always gone in and read it very bitty and just here and there.
It's hard to sort of get into it like that, isn't it?
So they're the three that I'm hoping to finish.
I love that book though, Charlie. That book, I love that book. The two main characters of it, they're just like, and then it's like one of those books that kind of like, gets here.
Well, I'm hoping it'll do the same for me because of the.
And plus, it's got like art references, which I really like.
Yes, I like that as well. Although it can make me a tiny bit pretentious and send me searching for all of the art and pretending I'm a human being that I'm not.
I like Googling stuff though. That's what, if a book makes me Google stuff, that's like a good thing.
Oh, one book had so many art references that I ended up taking a trip to Manchester just to go to their art gallery.
That's really good.
Yeah. But
Which book was that? Off on a tangent, sorry.
No, it's a book that the first time I read it, I didn't realise all of the wrongs within it. But I did mention that when I reread The Goldfinch with Emily. It was the first time I read The Goldfinch many moons ago. And it made me feel like a pretentious human being, that I am not. And so I hot-footed it off to Manchester and went around their art gallery and wondered why I bothered doing that, because I have been around that art gallery enough times as a university student.
Oh, that's nice.
Our second question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year?
The Golden Mole by Catherine Rundell. And this is just the most beautiful book, both outside and in. And I haven't obviously read all of it, but I've just like I flicked through some of the pages, and it's just got like gorgeous illustrations. And I'll try and, if not, I'll take a picture. Sorry?
Is this the Jackie Morris one?
No, it's not Jackie Morris. Lost Words is Jackie Morris.
It's just
the illustrations by Talia Baldwin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a similar kind of vibe to the Lost Words because it's a bit more obviously fact heavy than that is. It talks about the animals within it a bit more than it's obviously Lost Words is poetry, whereas this is like obviously more written. You see, it's like got pictures like that, and it's just, and there's like a bat. It's just really, really gorgeous, and I know this will be one I want to try and read, hopefully with my daughter. That's my plan. So we sort of read, like, we'll probably read hopefully a few pages or like a few animals together, and then but it's just gorgeous.
I know.
My answer.
For me, autumn, I really like a gothic tale.
Oh, that's good.
But I think that I have a different opinion of what gothic is. So I'd hoped for The Historian to be that book for me, and it hasn't felt the way that I want it to for autumn. Like, for me, the books that have felt like this have been the books of Diane Setterfield, where it's been a cold, bleak, rainy day like today, and I have just sat down on one of the settees downstairs and just been so enveloped in a story that I have read the entire thing sat there, and it's been just gothic and full of character, and even the setting has such a strong character as well. So I'm hoping that a book I found when we went to Crewe is going to be that book, and I'm going to try and get it read this month. And that is it's not there we go, and it's The Quick by Lauren Owen. So a young woman's brother goes missing, and so she travels down to London to find out what's happened, only to discover this Egolius Club, which is seemingly filled with quite villainous men associated with Victorian London. I don't know whether they're all fictional. I guess I'll find that out whilst I read it. Romantic, adventurous, and horrific. So I'm hoping, as you know, because I did see her second book in Waterstones.
Yeah.
And it does say it's a modern take on classic Gothic horror. Hilary Mantel and Kate Atkinson blurbed it, so
that is a really good sign.
I'm really hoping that this is the book that I want it to be, that I just get hooked by and want to read in every moment, because I haven't had many books like that this year.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I haven't had that many 5 stars, I don't think.
Is there a new release you're still waiting for?
I've got 2, but I've got it written down on paper. I said,
okay.
I wonder if one of yours is the same as me.
I never said I had out.
Oh, you don't have one?
No.
You don't have an answer for it?
Should I have an answer? Is there something?
There's one that I mentioned to you that I'm shocked that yeah. I'm shocked.
I'm shocked that you expect me to remember. What's the book?
To be fair. My Soul Twin by Nino actually there's 2 that you both of these you want, Charlie, and both of these are, but these are 2 books that are me and you, Charlie, books. So My Soul Twin, Nino Harashvili, My Soul Twin. She's got a new release. Is it out yet?
Charlie, we've never spoke about this book before. I didn't know it existed.
I messaged you with the picture being like, this is being released. She's got Nino Harashvili has got a new one out.
Where did you send me this message? Where? I
don't know, but I feel like I told you. I'm sure this must be. I definitely said it to Leo.
You didn't say it to me on WhatsApp. When did you find out?
I'm sure I said it to you because it would be the kind of thing that I would say to you, Charlie.
Yeah, but it seems you said it to Leo instead.
No, I would think of you. You know I would.
Go on, tell me when you sent it. Do you know what? It says she sent me a picture. Let's go back through.
Oh my God, don't fact check me. Now you're going to shame me. And it will be that I've messaged Leo and forgotten to message you. That would be horrible if that's the case. I'm sure
you told me about Dead Relatives by Lucy McKnight Hardy.
Honestly, Charlie, the fact that you're going to go scroll, that is a lot of messages we go to, that is a lot.
You said you sent me a picture, so I'm just going through the pictures.
Yes, but I'm sure there is. I'm sure I did. I'm 90% sure. 80% sure. I'm sure, surely. My Soul Twin. It's the blue cover. Blue. This is how the cover looks like.
See the cover, sorry? I have never seen this cover before.
I must have told you. How could I not told you? I'm the worst friend ever if that's true. I'm sure I didn't.
You have not.
I'm going to go back through the messages and look myself. I'm sure. I must have said it to you.
Through. I'm currently looking at every single picture you've ever sent me.
No, Charlie, don't.
I am.
Because this is such a nice book. It's Nino Harashvili.
Okay.
How did I not say it to you?
Did you find out about this book before or after you had your kitchen done?
No, it was after. I watched a video from Gemma Books. She said about it. I could almost tell you the date, and then
I have gone all the way back to when you were having your kitchen. You've not sent me a single picture of it. So let's regroup.
Okay.
And you can tell me about the existence of Nino Harashvili's My Soul Twin.
And it's from the 1st of November it's out. So it's out now, that means.
Oh, okay.
Which is exciting, but I'll have to get it for Christmas. It says, two families, one devastating secret, an epic story of forbidden love. 8 years have passed since Stella last saw Ivo, but when he returns, the reunion of their unconventional family will change the course of her ordinary life. As children, Stella and Ivo grew close as their parents embarked on an affair that would shatter both families. Later, as teenagers, their own relationship would be the cause of further scandal. Now, as adults, they set out on an odyssey to uncover the truth about another family's past and to understand their own.
As you're reading that, I was reminded of some things from The Eighth Life.
Yes.
But I was also quite excited by the sound of it, you know. As you say, cross-generational family sagas, we do like those. So, although you thought you told me about this book...
I'm so sorry.
I now have an answer to this question, which I didn't before. So, you have benefited me. And you said that you had a second book as well.
Yes, one that you have definitely want to get. Limberlost by Robbie Arnott.
I nearly said this. I did nearly say this. I have the Ark. I still haven't read the Ark.
You've got the Ark. I forget that you have the Ark. I'm so jealous.
Well, that's because I'm sat over here like reading all of the other books, avoiding my Kindle that has about several thousand books I want to read on it.
It's because you want to get through your physical books, which I am the same, actually. I always want to read my physical books before I read the ebooks.
Yeah, I forget that there's hundreds of books on that Kindle now that have been sent to me as ARCs. But, like, there are books that I've been anticipating for years on there.
If I had Limberlost, Charlie, I would read it. This is why you're lucky you don't actually, because I'd actually be stealing your Kindle from you.
That would be fine. I mean,
yeah.
I would not mind. At least somebody would get some use out of that Kindle. But until you said this, until you gave your answers, I had no books that I was waiting for before the end of the year, and now I have two. So thank you for that. Thank you for the ideas to thrust at my siblings to say, get me this for that festive period of time.
We need to get My Soul Twin. I think that will be one we read next year. Yeah.
I was thinking a buddy read as well.
Yeah, we have to. We have to,
Yeah,
because we missed the opportunity to rate the life.
So, for the sake of Charlie, we're adding in our own question, which is, which books do you have to read by the end of the year?
Okay, so I've got my Dickens ones, the Pickwick Papers and Oliver Twist, because these are for the Mega Dickens along. Okay, yeah, so I've got my Dickens books, which I have, like, none of these, obviously, like you said, we have to read, but these are the ones, like, this is my commitment to myself that I have to read them. And then I've got the FOMO Book Club, I Capture the Castle, which I'm going to try and read.
Yeah.
No, can't do that. Yeah, and that's for for the Alice and Gems and Jax's book club. And then also I've got a buddy read with Berna from Berna's Bookish Thoughts, which is The Scapegoat. And I've got a story with this one.
Okay. I
am actually, in fact, I started this, I don't know when I started it, a couple of years ago, and I got bored of it. Sorry, Berna, but I'm gonna commit to enjoying this. But I got halfway through it and just got bored of it and kind of like sort of DNF'd it a little bit. So I'm gonna have to restart it from the beginning. But yeah, it kind of it's not a very exciting story, but
yeah. I won't say there are any books that I have to read. You're already doing better than me with the Du Maurier, because I read Rebecca and that was it for me. I'm like, nah, not an author for me.
But she's quite good for, like, you were saying about the autumnal thing. I think that she's quite a good transition into winter. In
the past with Du Maurier, she's often seen as quite a gothic writer.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what it was. There was just something about Rebecca that I didn't care for, and then I thought, there's no impetus to read her. One book that I probably could have used this at the start as well, and I'll say that I have to finish, is Great Expectations, because you and I were buddy reading that together, but I just really got great enjoyment out of listening to it almost episodically and not trying to race through it. And so I'm still listening. I'm not doing the 20 minutes a day anymore because I've had a few things come up, but I still get great enjoyment of just putting the headphones in or putting the wireless speaker on and having it in the background, because well, you know now what a great story it is. And for me, return to it, knowing the story as well, it it doesn't feel like I'm missing anything by not reading it. So it's almost like a different listening experience because I'm getting to revisit all of this, and it's just a different way to connect with the characters. But
like a treat for you.
It is, yeah, it's like a treat for me. So I am enjoying eking this out over many weeks and just popping in here and there, almost like a radio play or a TV show, so that I don't, I get to spend more time with it than I would have done had I felt like I was forcing the issue. So
I'm excited to read Pickwick Papers for that reason. I want to kind of like read like little bits here and there, like
which the Pickwick Papers I'd say is actually great for because it is more of an episodic novel, I think, in terms of Dickens' work. There are a lot of stories within there that it's not necessarily this like novel where you can, not that you don't need to pay attention, but it's made up of a lot of interconnecting stories and what have you.
kind of like Cranford, like
I can see why you'd equate it to Cranford. I think it's, for me, it's where Dickens is still finding his footing in writing a novel, but also he's 22, I think, when he wrote this. So the first time I read and listened to this, I was just exceptionally impressed. But it's not my favorite of Dickens' works, but I appreciate everything going on within it. So now we have, what books would you like to read before the end of the year?
Let you go first for this one.
Okay, I'll dust this off. This is a book that you just mentioned, and that is Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. And this is because when we did Booktober and you and I agreed to read Great Expectations, I pushed this to the wayside. So I want to read this year because it's a book that I've much maligned. And I have owned this copy since my second year of sixth form when a friend bought it for me. It's the Dickens novel I've avoided because my father has a deep adoration for the musical, so much so that I now hate Oliver Twist. I have heard the songs in that, I've seen it so much, and it made me understand why my mother has never let me watch Mary Poppins, because she had that film foisted upon her entire childhood life. And for me, that was Oliver Twist. There are films and things that my parents share with me that have, I still watch with great nostalgia. But Oliver Twist, every time this child appears on my screen, I would like that flaming cook to lift him up and dump him into the pot of gruel and just boil him away.
No.
So I'm hoping that I have a better reaction to the book. I need to get it out of the way, out of my system. And
you're going to try the audiobook, like you said a bit, because you've been reading.
Yeah, I will be reading this and listening to the audiobook alongside it. We'll see how I get on with it. We'll see if this narrator manages to make me despise the character less. The next book I have is The Outsourcerer's Apprentice by Tom Holt. I want to read this because of, again, this book that I am planning. I read The Management Style of the Supreme Beings years ago, very much enjoyed that, and I've started this. I've read 2 chapters, and it is a book that I have already found hilarious. Tom Holt, just similar to Terry Pratchett, takes the fairy tale tropes, and they're in a world where the people who are living these fairy tales are beginning to recognize that they're living a life that's just so samey. Like this young woman who's clearly Red Riding Hood has just started going around and killing the wolf because she doesn't want to wait for the woodsman, because she's recognizing that the world isn't necessarily going how it should. It's very repetitive. And I think that's what's going to happen here, is that there's something going on with the fabric of reality and this looming wizard.
So that reminds me, kind of gives me Once Upon a Time vibes. Is it Once Upon a Time vibes, or is that?
I know what you mean by Once Upon a Time. It's just that this is more of a humorous take on it.
Okay. And also, it's Tom, I'm sure when we were in Crewe, I'm sure you meant we were talking about. I'm sure there was a conversation about Tom Holt in Crewe.
I think there was a conversation about Tom Holt because you're currently the only person who's heard anything about the book I'm planning. Then we have A Surprise for Christmas and Other Seasonal Mysteries, edited by
I want to see the cover.
Sorry, I'll get as close as I can without it.
That's right. That looks good.
So this is a collection of Christmas crime stories. And the story behind this is that I only discovered that I had this book this week.
Oh, wow.
I had put a few books aside at work with the intention of perhaps acquiring them, waiting and seeing what I felt. And this was one of them. And I have been doing an unhaul recently to try and clear some space in my room and found this book on my crime shelf.
That is perfect.
So I don't need to get the copy from the shop anymore because I have this. And I do only get these books from the charity shop because for me they've been a bit hit and miss. I've enjoyed some, I've not enjoyed others. But with it being a short story collection, I'm hoping it's going to have some hits rather than misses. And I do like a bit of crime at Christmas.
I might have, I was thinking about this. You sent me the pretty fabric one. I might try and read that in December.
Oh, yes. I know what you mean, yeah.
Insert cover here, whatever it is.
These two can go together, which are the small house at Allington and the Last Chronicle of Barset.
Are they both in the series?
So these are the final two books in the Chronicles of Barsetshire series by Anthony Trollope. And I have decided that I want to end the year. I'll be reading The Small House at Allington in November and The Last Chronicle of Barset in December to end out the year with Anthony Trollope. I've very much been enjoying reading these books. And so I thought it'd be a great way to end the year.
Perfect. Just perfect. And it sounds so cozy and lovely.
It's one of those where the further you get in and the more you know of the community and the people there, when certain characters show up, it's this moment of, oh, I wondered where you'd been. I wondered what you were up to. And I first felt that with Family Parsonage, which has made me want to go to these books because Trollope references these places, but you don't necessarily get to see them until a few books in. And it's nice to focus on an area. And as I've said before, I just really enjoy reading these books that have got this community aspect about them. They also have this wit and humour that deal with somewhat hefty topics as well. I mean, yes, Dr. Thorne and Family Parsonage have similar storylines, but they both have very different characters coping with those stories. So now I actually like how those books compare and contrast against each other because it's nice to see how those stories could have gone in an almost like sliding doors fashion.
Yeah, it's really lovely. Yeah, I can see why you'd like that.
So what books do you have for this?
Okay. The thing is that you mentioned about the Christmas books, I think I'll go to the Christmas books first. So when I was away, I picked up in the Ludlow Castle bookshop. Can you see it? Murder at Christmas. These are the short stories. So there's 10 classic crime stories for the festive season. Yeah, so I think that would just be really fun. And like you said, crime is always like the really good, like Christmassy kind of thing anyway. And plus, these just look perfect.
It's true, but it's funny to hear it from somebody else.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention as well, I'm going to be trying to read, because they've got like, Kevy's got doing a thing about, they're doing a Christie thing, and I'm going to try and read one of the Christies. I think it's The Secret Adversary. That's what I'm going to try and read. Okay. Because that's on her team. So, and that's a Tommy Tuppence one, isn't it? Agatha Christie, the first Tommy Tuppence.
Tommy and Tuppence, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I've got these two little, which these don't count as like, but like.
Are these pamphlets?
Yes, pamphlets. Yeah. So I've got Christmas movies, which is a double bill of festive poems, which I think that'll be like in the week of Christmas. I want to read that. And then I've got Christmas Lights, which is 10 poems for dark wintry nights. So this will be the beginning of December. Yeah. And then 3 others I really want to try and read, but I don't know whether I'm going to have time because you know what I'm like. As long as the lemon trees grow by Zulfa Katua. It's a YA book, but she's the first Syrian author to be published in both the the UK and the US in the YA category. And I don't know, the premise just sounds amazing. It sounds like a gripping, it sort of says, burning with fires of hopes of possibilities. Zolfa Couture's debut is a breathtaking story of love, loss, set amid the Syrian revolution. So it just sounds just so gorgeous. And I know it kind of looks kind of summery, which isn't normally the kind of thing I would read in December. But the story just sounds so gripping, and it seems such a Charlie book to me. So
Right.
anyway, and then I've got a book about friendship, which is Ginger. I think it's friendship. Yeah, Ginger and Me. By Alyssa Suave. Yeah, and so yeah, this is about friendship. And then Honor, which is by Thriti Umragar, which is a Reese's book club pick. But this is about a journalist who's returned to the country that she was born in to report on some dark stuff going on, and it sort of tackles why she sort of really doesn't want to go back there, and it's meant to be another very gripping, gritty read. So those are fun. I want to read so much.
You've got some very bright covers there.
They are. They're really very, very Charlie-ish, aren't they?
No, the complete converse to the ones I showed. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favourite book of the year?
Oh, this is something I need to think of. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I'll give my answer first then, because
I have to look on my shelves.
can I give two answers?
Give as many as you like, Charlie. It's our tag.
So it's only books that I've mentioned in this video anyway already. The Small House at Allington, Katie Books and Things told me is her favourite from the Barsetshire series.
There you go.
There's a chance that could be a new favourite for me, but I'm really hopeful that The Quick will be a new favourite. I've heard that there are elements of fantasy in here. It's the gothic setting, it's the possible horror, it's the sibling relationship, and also because I saw my great-grandparents' surname in the pages. So I'm hoping that it's a sign that I'm going to really enjoy this. Sorry, I just turned to another page and the name Abercrombie was there, and one of my closest friends is called Abercrombie. So I have such hopes for this book, that this book could be a new favourite by the end of the year. At the start of this video, I said that I want a book that I'm going to be completely enveloped by and not want to do anything else but read that book, and I'm hoping that it's this one. We'll see.
I definitely think this one, just because of the premise.
Well, as you say, you said it was a Charlie book, and when you said about what goes on in its pages, I agree.
No, it's like it's a YA though, but still, and it kind of like
But you've had YA books that have had your heart before.
Not that's been a favourite though.
Okay.
Like I don't think I've had a YA book that's been. Actually, I'm lying. Cemetery Boys. I loved Cemetery Boys. This has been on my shelves forever. Against the Loveless World by Susan. No, yeah, this is one that loads of people. A couple of years ago, lots of people were reading this, weren't they? So and I feel like I did start it. I did try a chapter of this, and I just loved it so much. So I don't know why I haven't. You know when you do that, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to save it because I think I'm going to love it that much. Yeah, exactly. So and then also obviously this.
Okay, I know you've talked about that one.
I saw this in the charity shop, Charlie, yesterday, and I was so annoyed because obviously I paid full price for it.
Yeah, I told you before, if it's a book that's popular and you don't think that you're going to get to it immediately, just wait and visit your charity shop a few months down.
I'm annoyed. I literally have never seen that in the charity shop ever. But yeah, no, this is multi-generational family tales, so 100%. Like this one, this probably could be a favourite of the year. Like how can it not? If I get to it.
Well, now I need to know what you think of it to find out whether I want to read it.
Then I should have got you the second-hand copy.
You should have done, but you know.
Then you would have been annoyed about me getting you another book. That's what you would.
If it's popular, there's every chance it'll turn up in my charity shop anyway. So, finally, have you started making plans? No, sorry. Have you started making reading plans for 2023?
I have indeed, as you know, because there's some books that we're gonna.
Yes, we've got plans to buddy read some books together.
It's probably going to be like 1 million for us, but that's
Yeah,
always...
there will be, due to bookish prizes, that we will definitely end up reading together. I've also got a buddy read planned with Leo of Leo's Little Book Life, who's now on Instagram, which is to do with the Palliser books by Anthony Trollope. So I've got a fair share of plans as well as some books that I just like to clear my shelves.
And also, I'm going to plan next year to read A Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth. There's been a few people when I put this on my channel that said that they would want to like buddy read it. So I think I might do a read along. And yeah, so if anyone's interested in that.
How many months do you think that you'll run that for?
I don't really know, Charlie. And it has to fit within Women's Prize season and Booker season. So I don't know how I'm going to do that. But
it's only because how many pages is that book?
1,500, I think.
Do you know what? I have no want to read that. I'd have to take half a year to read that book.
Or it's 1,474 pages, Charlie.
Yeah, so you'd want to take 5 months to read that. You'd want to read
How
3.
can I park 5 months when I've got
You'd want to read
and Booker? Sorry?
You'd either want to read 300 pages each month to make it manageable for anyone who'd want to read along.
Yes.
Or you go for, I don't know, if you 750 over a month is a lot to ask of a person.
It's a lot to ask for a person.
So I just,
You can help me plan it.
This is 704 pages, and I have been reading this for
704 pages? That doesn't look that big, Charlie. Show me.
I know.
I didn't think it was that big. You've done well then.
Well, that's what I was saying to you. It's a hefty book, but it moves fast. Yeah. Well, good luck with all of your plans.
I don't know how I'm going to do that with Booker.
Well, actually,
Anyway,
for me, the most luck I send is to do with A Suitable Boy, because that is hefty. Because Charlie is kind, she wants to give you a treat, a little bit of a teaser of what's to come from Charlie and Charlie in 2023. And we talked about how we're going to be reading some books together, and these books might not necessarily be related to any fiction prize, because if it was, then clearly these books would win every time.
Every time.
So there is a possibility of us asking people to bookmark 4 months at the beginning of 2023, and that they might be taking a trip to a small town in the north of England in which the WI rules all.
It's going to be loads and loads of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So for more information about what Charlie and I are talking about, you'll just have to wait until the end of November, beginning of December, but it will definitely be with you sooner rather than later. Is there anything that you wish to add from today, Charlie?
Just thank you for watching, and also let us know all your reading plans for the end of the year. What book are you most excited for? What book are you most excited to finish by the end of the year? Is there anything you think is going to be a 5-star read and your bookish plans? Yeah.
There you go. See, Charlie is always looking for ways to involve you. I guess that what I will say, as well as what I would generally say, is, are there any of the books here that you believe Charlie and I should prioritise first? If so, then please feel free to let us know in the comments. You can find Charlie over at Charlie Brook, but I will leave a link to her channel and other social media in the description, whether she wants you there or not. We hope that you've enjoyed this video because until next time, that is all.